Okay, so a brief summation attempt. Second take, because I ran out of space. So this guy, we're going to call him Kevin Clarence Patriot, was making some pretty amazing predictions to do with globalism, with the world central bankers, the fiat currency, the big sham. They're normally assumed to be the ones in control of the world. And so, anyways, this guy was making some pretty stunning predictions and gained a bit of a following. And some, this was on 4chan, and some hotshots on 4chan, rock stars of their own caliber, had their own boards, fairly popular. Changed their names a bit. Call one of them Brochure. We'll call the other one Brad Penman. And these guys were members of a group that was cryptography club. We'll call them Locust 2501. And so basically, the Locust guys ended up co-opting the information that Kevin Clarence Patriot had been putting out, constructing puzzles, because after all, they were cryptography buffs of high caliber. Many of them have some government experience working for various spy agencies and such. Co-opted the movement, gave it a right-wing spin, definitely very pro-Trump. This group began gaining a following. They had their own boards that they created. We'll call the one the Darkbeforethedawn. It's not really the name. The weather, as they called it. This movement gained a lot of steam, gained a lot of followers. There was a lot of programming code speak in the language of it that basically got a lot of people indoctrinated into what amounts to a cult at this point. They're not really, paying dues to the cult leader or anything like that, but certainly a lot of people were making cash cow profits off of it and such. So anyways, at some point in the midst of that, their movement got co-opted as well, I believe, by it's a small Middle Eastern country that's their religion does not match any of the other ones around them. It's the oddball out in that region. They're trying to take over some land that may or may not be theirs. And they're super secret. We'll call them the Moose. Their intelligence agency and their American spies and conscripts kind of took that movement over. Made a lot of money off of that, I believe. And then it all got called out. Somebody got a hold of the handle, possibly the original Kevin Clarence Patriot fans of some sort, got into hacking the trip code or whatever, and there was a be careful who you follow warning. At that point, it pretty much all bets became off as to whether or not anything to do with that source was true. That was about 3 weeks ago. And up to now, as of about today, some people are really starting to figure out that what had happened was pretty much a big scam. Don't really know whatever happened to Kevin Clarence Patriot, but I can hope that person is safe, because they opened the door to open a lot of minds. At the very least, the movement has got a lot of people thinking away from the old inverted totalitarian way that we had been living, and hopefully moving towards some sort of freedom. But yeah, so that's the current recap. I don't promise any kind of super accuracy on that. This is just an approximation of what I've just put together via others. It's a summation, and that is all. But it needed to be put out there that there was Kevin Clarence Patriot. The Locusts co-opted Kevin Clarence Patriot, took their own credit, and then at that point were overtaken by the Moose. And then the Moose lost control of it when Kevin Clarence people ended up hacking in, so it would seem. So a lot of the data that came from the movement, the Darkbeforethedawn, the weather, I guess we'll call it the letter R. No, that's not right. The letter F. And the letter A, that's more appropriate. So anyways, after the Aanon movement, there was a lot of valid information in that, but it was also co-opted, skewed, and not what people thought it was. And it's really unfortunate, because there's a lot of people that are like really super die-hard into this movement, and they're going to be just as broken-hearted as the people that actually honestly believe that Russians hacked the election, or that any of the other ridiculous nonsense that the overseers want us to believe. That's really what it comes down to. And you know as well as I do that there are certain parties we are simply not allowed to criticize without having some sort of censorship or repercussions occur. You can say it out loud, but there are always going to be consequences if it's documented, recorded, or whatever, especially as it pertains to other people's money. So this has been my summation of the Kevin Clarence Patriot, Aanon, whatever you want to call it thing. Beware the moose. They're everywhere.